Hi there, we are now moving on to Unit 5.07 with a focus on the art of North American Indians. This is part 1 of that unit. North American Indian art reflects a deep regard for the natural world. Many groups make up North American Indian culture, and their lands range from the Atlantic to the Pacific and include Canada as well as the United States. For hundreds of years, Indian artists have been creating functional objects such as cooking pots, blankets, and transforming them into works of great beauty. The groups of people that make up American Indian cultures are as different as the geography of the lands in which they live. The Tlingit inhabit the rugged forests along the coast of Canada and Alaska. The Pueblo lived in the deserts of the southwestern United States centuries ago. The nomadic people of the Great Plains moved between the eastern woodlands and the Rocky Mountains. Each group speaks a different language and has distinct customs and dress. Many of these peoples continue to thrive as communities today. Accomplishments of North American Indians. They have no single language, style of dress, or religion, but what North American Indians share is a deep reverence for the natural world. That reverence is evident in their art and architecture and their use of natural materials. Inhabitants of the Great Plains made teepees from bison and deer hide. Southwestern peoples built adobe homes and created pottery with clay they dug from the earth. American Indians mastered techniques in agriculture, medicine making, wood carving, weaving, beadwork, metalwork, basketry, and pottery, and passed this knowledge from one generation to the next to keep their traditions alive. And they infused functional and ceremonial objects they created with design elements that reflected their spiritual beliefs. Pueblo Traditions. The southwestern United States has been home to many Pueblo groups for centuries. Today, Pueblo tribes speak 6 different languages and have distinct traditions, including a pottery making tradition. Women create beautiful pots for everyday use and for special ceremonies. Each group creates distinct vessel shapes with unique colors, symbols, and designs. Some artists use colors in symbolic ways. The Hopi, for example, use yellow, white, red, and blue to represent points of direction. Some potters paint the entire pot white or black and then add designs in other colors. Other groups, like the Picaris and Taos, leave the surface unpolished and rough. Some artists paint sacred symbols on ceremonial pots, while others include naturalist motifs on vessels used for common daily tasks. The Acoma Pueblo, which consists of several villages, is one of the oldest communities in the United States. The Acoma make their home in New Mexico near the San Jose River, an abundant water resource for crops and livestock. The soil of that area provides rich clay for building adobe dwellings and making pottery. Pottery is the work of the Acoma women, who do everything from digging and preparing the white clay, shaping and scraping the pots, and painting the decorations. The white background with contrasting black and orange designs is characteristic of Acoma pottery. Acoma women favor naturalistic designs. They decorate their pots with bird and flower motifs or geometric patterns that symbolize clouds and water. Zuni Pottery. The Zuni Pueblo live in western New Mexico near the Zuni River. Traditional Zuni pottery is mainly functional, made to carry and store water and food. The shape and designs are determined by the intent and function. Zuni artists typically paint their pots with a background of white slip. They paint colored designs on the white background, often using symbols to represent things. The artist who painted the water jug used brown and burnt sienna to depict birds and geometric stepped shape that symbolizes a mountain. Zuni artists don't limit color to the outside of the vessel. They often paint bands of color inside the neck of the pots. Pueblo pottery techniques. Zuni potters follow a traditional process of giving thanks to the Earth Mother before digging up clay. They sift out impurities and add water to soften the clay. The potter forms the shape and smooths the surface with a scraper. She applies a thin layer of clay and then polishes it with a stone. She decorates the vessel using natural dyes. Contemporary Zuni fire clay in electric kilns, a departure from traditional firing methods. Acoma women create pots using the coil method of rolling clay into long, thin coils of the same thickness. They wind the coils in a circle to create the vessel shape, then smooth the lines between the coils using their hands or a gourd. They fire their pots in the open air with natural fuels and then paint them with naturalistic